It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, X, Twitter, and Threads. Also, if you haven't already and you're watching us live and in living color, make sure you can always see our beautiful faces by subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you're already there, just hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. That way you'll never miss when we're going live. And while you're there, venture around to some other interviews and exclusive chit chats that we've had throughout the years and leave a comment. Actually, some people have. They've discovered some of our older interviews and stuff, and they've been leaving comments. So shout out to those people. Nice. And if you can't be still at home and want to see our lovely faces and need to take us on a long walk, or while you're pumping iron in the gym, or if you're stuck in traffic and just need someone to talk to, we're available on all of your favorite podcast stations. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Make sure you search Dishin Days and follow us there. And don't forget to show some love to our wonderful former co-host and my chocolate twin, Mr. James Lott Jr., who is serving up a couple of dishes of his own. Check out his recaps of Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital, along with some original audio dramas over at JLJ Media on YouTube. Because my good friend James is as old as the word old. But we love him for it. Someone's going to tell him about it. He's going to say something.
If he's into the chat already.
Right. And of course, you guys, make sure you tell us your thoughts and leave us your comments. And make sure you comment below if you are watching later. All right. What do we think of this week's episode of Days?
Great. Our audience seems excited. I'm really I see a lot of new faces here. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Yeah. Really good this week. The storylines, again, continuing last week, are really getting concise. They're sort of focusing on the three main ones and giving us a lot there. So, yeah. Really exciting week this week.
I will say I found myself talking to the TV this week and being like, So that's how I felt like it went. Araceli?
Always a good sign.
I agree with everything that you just said.
All of my
Well, yeah, and it doesn't feel as if anything is dragging. It doesn't feel as if anything is done sporadically, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although there was an interesting bait and switch this week that we discussed already.
There was.
I think it was more than interesting. It's giving, well, everybody has to. But we'll talk about that in a second. Let's dive right into it, everybody. It is, you know what? I feel like this should be like a graphic or something. Like me, turning it like this is whatever. It is now time to start
Dishin
Days. Well, one day we'll get there. All right, let's start off with our first storyline, which is Hello, Mrs. Robinson. That's right. We are going to talk about all the shenanigans that happened at the double wedding and in the Salem Inn. And to join us to talk about all the things that went down, please help me welcome our special guests today. We have Miss Linsey Godfrey, Mr. Paul Telfer, and of course, Mr. Robert Scott Wilson. Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Of this double wedding. Yeah.
First of all, whenever anyone hears double wedding in Salem, you just know someone's not getting married.
The last thing you expect is someone to get married at one of those.
Right.
Right. It's like, I feel like if I lived in Salem and read in the Salem Spectator, there's a double wedding today, I'd be like, ooh, whose secrets are going to get revealed today?
I'm not going to that wedding.
Get out of the...
Yeah. And actually, off the top of that, Paul, this is your second double wedding. So any compare and contrasts to share?
Well, I'm hoping I won't have a third of the current form. Yeah, I mean, this one was very different because it just felt like, just in terms of like your character, Xander's character's perspective, it all looked, like easy runway. He hadn't been up to anything. He hadn't been sneaking around. Like, he's just in love, wants to get married. Yeah, so for it to blow up the way it did and for his whole entire life to be shaken to the foundations was not really what he was expecting. But for me, I love it. It always feels, I love, especially post-COVID, we don't get as many like big scenes with lots of actors in them, like a big bunch of the cast together. And it's always so much fun. It feels like a big production again when you're doing that. Everybody gets a bit silly, because there's lots of like stars of the show that have to attend these things that aren't necessarily the focus of them, and so they get a bit bored and they start making little jokes and things. It's the best. It's so fun, and because it's all chopped up, there's not usually that much pressure on anybody outside of like one or two. Like, so the first big double wedding with Gwen and Leo, most of that was being carried by Marcy Miller. Really, like she had like pages and pages and pages of dialogue. So the rest of us could just watch her be amazing and react. And it was kind of the same this time. It was mostly like Rob and Emily and Serena having to do all the heavy lifting, while I just was like, oh dear. It's been great. You just get to watch the show and enjoy it.
Yeah. I think there was like there was a part of that episode, like 3/4 of it, where I just don't even speak, and I was just so happy about it. And halfway through it, I became such a baby that they let me take off my heels, and I was just standing on an apple pie. As the day progressed, I got like less wedding-y. I was like this close to being like, can we just unzip the back of this dress?
Rob, we gotta tip our hat off to you. And that confrontation scene with you and Emily was just mega. Like, it's funny because as Paul was describing, it's a big scene, everyone's there, but once you two got going, it sort of shrunk, and it was just the two of you there. It was like a spotlight was on you two, and it was amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I honestly, I mean, I love those scenes, because kind of what Paul was just saying too. It's very seldom that we get these really big, juicy moments, filled with the energy of everybody watching, and just a lot of attention to detail. And Emily was just amazing. She's an absolute pro, and I just trust wherever it goes with that, and it came out great. I was really proud of it.
You should be. It was nice to see Alex be so vulnerable too.
Yeah.
Friend to friend, co-star to co-star. It was so nice to get to watch you have that opportunity, and you hit it out of the park.
Thank you. Just trying to just do my damnedest. Do it justice. Like, it's been a long time. I can't believe been at Days for a while now, and it's nice to get some real juicy, layered material, and to have everybody there and be a part of it is like everything. And like I said, Emily was fantastic, Paul was fantastic, Linsey was fantastic. It just came together. It was great, and hopefully we can do another double wedding sometime.
Yeah. And Greg Rickard was amazing as well.
Honestly, I forgot how
now it's a Salem wedding.
The cuts to Greg was the best part of the whole show.
Mm-hmm. The best part of the whole show. Filming the whole show too, because we all had to like pause what we were doing to get these inserts of like Greg Rickard. So we're all like desperately trying not to ruin his take, because we're all like
the Leo lens. The Leo lens.
I said before you guys came on, I was like, Leo was basically us. Like, if we were at that wedding, we would have been like
the audience.
Yeah, the whole time. Did you? I mean, this whole secret of what Teresa did to Alex and Xander has been going on for quite some time. Did you all like have any speculation as to how the secret would eventually come out, and like for it to come out in this way, did it like Did you think it would be this way? Did you think it would be another way? Like, how do we feel about the reveal?
I really wasn't
of it?
sure until it started insinuating this, like, you know, idea of him getting married, and I was like, okay, well, that's gonna be the
Yeah.
plot. You know, that'll be it. But until then, I really wasn't sure. You know, I didn't know what they're gonna craft up. There's always something up their sleeves. So I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. But yeah, of course, the wedding was prime time.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Because for me, it was more when the little hints and little nuggets that they dropped about Xander's mum, and when they started to be frequently enough, they're like, all right, well, she's probably going to be a character. They're probably going to bring somebody on. That's when I started to be like, here comes a wedding. Here comes Xander's mum. It just feels like something's going to explode there.
Yeah. She was fantastic, man. I had never met her yet.
Serena is the coolest.
Yeah, she's a very cool woman, like great actor, and you know, just that was great to have that be the intro, you know.
And her attitude as well. Like she just, for an actor that's been doing it as long as she has, to have that much energy and like excitement and just eagerness, like it's infectious, you know. It was really fun as well. So just real quick, because when the whole storyline started off, about Alex being the heir. Oh no, it's really Xander. I remember, like, I very rarely let the storylines, get to me, but I was just like, I always thought if they were going to do that, it'd be Xander. All right, fine. And I just swallowed it, and then like a month later, I was like, oh no, it really is Xander. And then I was like,
okay.
Well, maybe they're going to flip it again. They might, at any time, they might just change their mind and really it's Justin or whoever. Yeah. But so as it got closer and closer too, I was just like, oh, it is me. Okay, good. That was fun.
Yeah.
To finally have it play out that way.
Yeah, but Paul, how do you play with that now? Because you have to play it in a different way that Rob had to, in the sense that, you really got some great one-on-one scenes with the dear late John Aniston, and he's not here now to play those with you.
Yeah. No, it was really difficult, honestly, at first to not feel disappointed that we didn't get to play out this storyline while he was alive, if that was ever the plan, But at the same time, it just selfishly as an actor, it kind of added all these extra things to it, because Xander and Victor never really reconciled before Victor passed, and Xander had really like struck out and become his own guy, and the newspaper and the various other things that he does to make money. He just wasn't really trying to be this like, ladder climbing, grasping wannabe anymore. He wasn't like trying to fight his way into the Kiriakis family for respect. He just kind of was finally just being his own guy. And so it kind of made him interesting to me all over again, that now he's got to like recapitulate his sense of self with this new understanding, and also rethink every interaction he ever had with his uncle, who is in fact his father. So it's really kind of, I'm really grateful for it, honestly. And I know everybody got frustrated because I know we did. So if we get frustrated, I know the audience must be, with how long some of it took because of the strike and everything. Yeah. But to Ron's credit, the millisecond he came back, he was like, all right, bum, 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 bum. Things are happening now. Like,
Exactly.
We noticed that right away. We were like, clearly Ron came in and was like, where are we? Got it. And just started wrapping everything up in a bow, like boom, 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 boom. Yes. I was like, all right, we're here for it. Oh, that's done? Okay. Oh, we're moving on. Oh, okay. That's how we've been like the past, month or so?
Yeah.
Like everything has just been kind of wrapping up.
Linsey and I working one day and coming down the stairs, and I think it was Wally was down there and we hadn't seen him for a minute, or maybe Matt Ashford, somebody who we hadn't seen for a minute. And they were like, hey, how are things? How's it going? And I was like, well, we were really suspicious of Constantine for about 3 months. So like, it was nice to all of a sudden, like, now you want story? Here's some story. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Funny to like watch Sarah's opinion of Constantine constantly be like, I think he's probably fine. I don't know. He kind of seems like he's up to something. He's probably fine.
Oh yeah. You want to babysit? Here you go. Here's Victoria. Do it. Linsey, how was it? Because I feel like Sarah is just kind of in a state of like, what is happening? Like, where did this come from? And like, how do you see her position in all this? Because we saw her this week, having a conversation with Fiona and having to kind of be the messenger that she had a nervous breakdown, which is why she hasn't been there. Like, how do you feel? It's almost kind of like Sarah's now in the middle because we saw her kind of care for Alex, we saw her care for obviously for Xander. Like, how are you feeling about Sarah's position in all of this?
I think there's an element of Sarah that was like, whoops.
I just thought it would be a good idea to have your mom here. Like,
She's
sorry.
just trying to get him to see his mom. Wow. She has a responsibility to console everybody because she, like, in her attempts of doing something nice, set off just a series of explosions in everybody's life. And so I think there's a little bit of Sarah that is kind of just like, whoops. Do you need a hug? Like, that's all she can really offer, because like she is in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
And she is like, Sarah does try to kind of put out fires, even if she's the one that starts them. She does try to like fix things. She does try to fix things, and the one thing I really appreciated about Sarah, whether it was intentional or if it's something that it's just what the character has evolved, is that she understands nuance, and I kind of love that about her. It's like, even when Kristen, we thought Kristen lost the baby, she was very sympathetic to like, hey, you're a crazy villain, but like mom to mom, that's really sad. And I think with Serena too, or with Fiona, it's like, oh, mom to mom, why the hell would you do that to your kid? And then oh, woman to woman, I've been there. So I think like that's something I adore about Sarah, is that she just finds nuance in things, and so she kind of is like a bleeding heart, especially because she started it.
What I loved is that during that conversation, when Fiona was like, "Oh, that's such a long story," Sarah was like, "Oh, I got time."
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
She is nosy.
Please tell
She's
me.
a nosy person. What are we talking about? What secret is it? I want to know.
I was like, in that moment, Sarah just she was like, "Let me call into work real quick. Let me call Xander and be like, I'm gonna, I'm gonna be right here collecting tea right now."
But speaking of nuance, Lindsay, we got that amazing scene between you and Rob this week. That was a really nice contrast to like the wedding scene where you were being vulnerable. We have Rob as Alex being vulnerable in a different sense, but we also had Sarah like representing Xander and herself and her family on that sense. And it was a little bit of tension, a little bit of like disagreement, but it was both of you sort of coming together and I think understanding each other a little bit better in your positions. And like I said, it was interesting. The contrast was different, but also sometimes we don't get a lot of scenes with Sarah and other men. A lot of times it's you with Paul or with Suzanne. It was like a nice contrast of like,
as if I don't have chemistry with anybody else. Sorry, Paul, but I have fucking chemistry with other people.
But can you guys talk about that scene a little bit? Because it was like surprising but really effective.
Yeah, it was. I remember.
I haven't seen it.
Sarah walks in, Alex. I remember part of shooting and I did see some just online. I saw people making videos and whatnot. But I remember it was kind of different because we didn't really have that rapport. For Alex and Sarah, and I don't know. It was kind of it was like a nice change and something. I don't know, just from a different point of view. And kind of getting it across from somebody else that is on each side really and there for you. It was fantastic. And I mean, any chance to get to work with Linsey is great, she'll break out in laughter and then I can't stop either, and that's the end.
I'm a very serious person, Rob. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're very serious, actually. Very serious.
Very serious.
It was great. It was great.
I wanted to talk about the I don't know if the growth or the slight differences we saw in both Xander and Alex. It seemed as soon as, Alex kind of found out that he was Victor's son, and especially after he got his inheritance, we saw a different side of Alex that was, I I don't even know how to describe it.
Oh, he was
It's like
awful.
yeah, it's like you
Love
know.
it.
He was
well,
awful.
I think I think on the show I was like, see, this is what happens when you get money and you just all of a sudden just act a certain way. I'm like, did he need a horse? Probably not. But he was like, I'm rolling in dough, so I'm just gonna get everything. And then we saw Xander just turning down money. I was like, well, how many zeros was it? We would do that. Like, what's happening? So I'm wondering for you all, was it written in that to kind of have these characters kind of be like contrasting as we know them, or was it something that you wanted to do so that once it got to this reveal, we would feel the emotions that we needed to for these characters?
A little bit of both, honestly. You know, because for a long time I've wanted Xander to mature. You know, it's one thing playing him as this insecure, you know, weirdo black sheep when he's a recurring villain or when he's, you know, during the early days on the show. But at this point, you know, he's been there for a while, and it's fine for everybody to hate him for the things he's done. He deserves it. But just as a person, as an individual, if that's your life and you do nothing to try and improve or grow, then it'd just be dull to watch. It'd be dull to play. So I'm glad that, you know, the writers responded to that and obviously saw that too. And so that moment where he turns down the money from Maggie, it didn't feel like that came out of the blue. It felt like that was something that had been built up between the choices I was making and the choices the writers were making for a while. And I like the idea that, you know, after, you know, the nonsense with Ava and after, you know, some of the more ridiculous things he's done to try and make money over the years, that he really does seem to get it, that all he needs is Sarah and his family with Sarah to be content, to be happy. There doesn't need to be this other thing, this other stamp of approval from his uncle father or from anybody else in the family or whatever, you know, like he can just be okay so long as he's okay with himself, especially given his past, like, because he's never going to be able to fix all of that. So he can only proceed. And it plays out, it carries on, you know, with the Fiona character and with the things that are going to spiral out of this whole explosion that Sarah started, where he's constantly given the opportunity to kind of like lurch back into the kind of reactions and the kind of behaviors that he used to, you know, always resort to. And hopefully instead he chooses, you know, slightly wiser paths, but not always. So yeah.
I liked how Alex, when he got the money, he bought a Ferrari Stradale. He was looking at super yachts.
Yeah.
All off
It was out of
screen,
control. It was out of control.
The Ferrari's over there and the yacht's over there.
Xander's got it now. But I mean, I think it all added to
Henderson is taking care of it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Endo. I think it just, you know, all those little things like that that we knew, because Alex had money. Alex is a businessman. He's had money. You know, it was just nice to have the power with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the struggle with who he really is and all that. But you know, he was an asshole, man. Excuse my language. He was so bad to his dad. And I remember so many times I tried to take the sting out a little bit, because I was like, why is he so, it's too much, you know? I'm like, so like, no, I try to like soften it, but the writing is the writing, and we played it out, but I always tried to like at least put some type of like padding on how mean he was to Justin. You know, it was just too much. And then ultimately, when it all comes crashing down, it just adds to all that embarrassment at the wedding. You know, not just the deep life things with his own family and his girl, but you know, there's a whole bunch of money that was spent too, and it's a big embarrassment. It's just a big embarrassment for somebody with a big ego like Alex, and you know, it was a nice explosion and nice change.
Yes. Tell me that we're going to see humble Alex for the foreseeable future, because
I mean, he still might wear some loud shirts, but he's gonna calm down.
He's gonna wear some loud shirts.
We were happy that
he's definitely getting humbled up. This was something that changed him quite a bit. So you know,
we were happy that they had that scene with Alex and Justin as well, because there were times where, you know, we would talk about it on the show and we were like, I mean, Justin has been his daddy this whole time. Like, how do you suddenly just act like he didn't exist, like he
I
didn't raise
hated
you
it.
or didn't do anything?
Yeah, he bucked up against them all the time for no reason, and I was
Yeah.
like, God, every time.
Right.
Yeah.
I
God.
was like, where was Victor? Victor gone. And
Yeah.
he has more respect for Victor than he does for Justin right now.
Trust me. Yeah, no, I was trying to walk the line with it a little bit, but
Yeah.
you know, I love working with Wally, you know, and I think from day one, starting Alex, you know, he made the whole process that much more gelled, like, immediately. So, you know, I was glad we got to fix that and, you know, come back together as father and son. That's definitely one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. Now, Paul, we're wondering, what was your reaction, Paul's reaction? Because I'm sure Xander's reaction we'll see at some point. But when you read in the script that Brady had a wonderful evening with your mom, who had just got into town, how was that from Paul's point of view?
Well, so you know, we especially around then, because Ron had just come back, and I guess, you know, they were hustling to write the scripts. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like we had this big backlog of scripts like we sometimes do. We were shooting up quite close to the script, so we were just getting them and being like seeing what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so the exact same bait and switch was essentially done to us. You know, so, you know, I read that script and it seemed really clear that it was going to be, you know, Brady and Ava, and then actually with Fiona. And so the first thing I did was text Martop, and I just wrote, pardon my language. I just wrote, motherfucker.
Yeah. I knew that was coming.
And he immediately replied back. And he was like, no, don't worry about it. It doesn't really happen. I was like, oh.
Are we sure?
And that was one of those things where I was just like, on this soap opera? So, you know, stay tuned.
I mean, when we last left them, they were having another lovely cocktail at the Salem Inn. So
they were getting loose.
I will say, it was pretty funny because just out of the craziness of the schedule at the time between the strikes and COVID and everything that was going on, Serena was originally supposed to shoot the wedding stuff first. That was supposed to be her first day on the show. And thank God it wasn't, really, because that's no fun to just walk in first time doing daytime and have to do a big thing like that.
Yeah.
So instead, her because that stuff got pushed, her first scenes ended up being these scenes that you've already seen with her and Eric. You know, if you want to talk about a pro, Eric is the pro at this stuff. So, like, she couldn't have been in, like, better hands than to have somebody like that to work with. Plus, he's really funny, and she's really funny, so they just had a blast.
Oh my God!
But I had to, like, you know, I was right on, you know, I was warming up to do whatever on the set next door, so I had to watch and listen to it. And there is a part of you that just can't help but go, like, that's, you know, it's my TV mom, but it's still my mom.
I'm gonna ask you guys about Serena, like someone who comes on and she's such a pro, but also new to daytime or inexperienced with daytime. Is there a little bit of maybe not an attitude or a camaraderie of, like, you know, come on, kid, I'll show you the ropes kind of thing, or are there things that you guys did that excited? Or
I mean, Linsey can speak to some of this too, but for me, it was really nice to finally be in this position to be the person that knew what to do, and like the way Ari had done for me, the way other actors on the show had done for me when I first came on. It's a really lovely feeling to be able to, like, get ahead of some of the, because nobody tells you anything, and unless you've done daytime or unless you've done days specifically. There's a lot of things we do, and the way the pace and everything works, and the speed of it all, and just the odd conventions of daytime TV, like the little lingering glances that we do at the end of the scenes, and the continuations and replays, things like that. That until you do them, no one says, like, here's what's going to happen. So I could do that for her, and also give her, like, some help, like little tips on learning lines, like when not to overlearn, when, how far in advance to begin learning, so it's not wasted because you just have to learn it all over again, and things like that. It was really nice. But more than anything, very quickly, it was the opposite. Like, we were feeding off of Serena's energy, because she came in, and all the things that, you know, I'm sure drive Rob nuts, drive Linsey nuts after a while, like working on a show like this, especially if you've done other types of screen acting. You know, the things that are unique to daytime can drive you a bit crazy as an actor. And her reaction to almost all of those things would always be like, oh, that's fun. And so we just started going,
Nice.
oh, have fun. So then when anything would go wrong, or like, a light would explode, or something would catch fire, or, like a camera goes in the wrong place, there's a boom shadow, just go, oh, fun. And now I do it in all my, like, if I get stuck in traffic, I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like,
It's a
such a good
perfect
way
attitude.
to
Yeah.
approach things,
Yeah.
We will now move forward in life, just going, oh, this is fun.
Really, very helpful strategy.
On Bold and the Beautiful, Joanna Johnson, who played my mom.
Oh yeah.
I was taken up to the wardrobe room, and I had never done anything in daytime. I was so, and 23 maybe, and she literally took me by the hand and took me for the whole day. She took me to hair and makeup. She took me. I ended up not even going into my own dressing room. I ended up just like going to my dressing room to get changed and then staying in Joanna's dressing room with her the whole day. She took me through all the lingo. She took me through everything. And so I've always grabbed the first person. Like I did the same for Elia. When Elia came, I immediately grabbed her and I was like, do you need anything? Let me tell you how everything is. This is what this means. For some reason, we call scenes items. For some reason, we call the call sheet a rundown. There are no PAs. Just listen to the actual PA above you, and that will tell you where to be. And like these are So just explaining it all, and there is so much different lingo, and it is quicker. It is quick, and we do almost expect people to just understand it. But Serena was so awesome. We bonded immediately. Like immediately we were best friends. Like we met, and I think we left like holding hands after our blocking. And like and she called me Dolly, and
That's right, Dolly.
It just made me the happiest ever. And we went and had food with her on her last night. Me and Paul did, and it was just like the best time ever. And we miss her so much.
Really.
Now, before we let you all go, because we know that Paul and Linsey, you guys have to get to another Zoom to chit chat with some more people.
We're in high demand.
What can you say as far as like what will happen next? Is there any hint as to where the story goes from here? With that in mind, make sure you keep your jobs, because we're trying to keep the show.
Yes.
So we don't want to leak too much.
Something is coming down the pipeline that's huge.
Okay.
It involves a lot of people. There's a lot of like red herrings to things, but it is massive and very emotional.
Okay.
And it's coming like very soon. Am I right on timeline, Paul?
Yeah, I think it's imminent. Basically, we go from very, 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 very happy to sad. But
I mean, it's
through
days.
it. What I will
stays
say,
happy.
yeah, but the hint I'll give, the difference this time. This doesn't give anything away. The difference this time between previous issues with Xander being married to Sarah is that this time we are strong and together throughout the entire storyline. But there is an enormous amount of trauma, and for Linsey and I personally, it relates and echoes real life stuff that we've been through a long time ago, but still it never goes away. And as I feel like you're all pretty aware that Linsey and I are good mates and have been for a while.
Yeah.
But our bond, both personally, emotionally, everything throughout that storyline just made us even closer as friends. And the things Linsey did for me as a scene partner, prior to some of those scenes, I will never forget and always be very grateful to her for. So yeah, I really hope it plays the way it felt at the time, because all this is a little bit further down, maybe a couple of months away, but the things that trigger it and start that storyline on its way happen really soon. But yeah, so stay tuned.
Yeah, and Rob, how does Alex rebuild? He basically has to kind of like scrap the last year and start from scratch.
Yeah, he's got to clean up his act and figure out what how he gets back to himself again. You know, his world once again was flipped upside down. So, you know, I think he has to make amends with the people that he hurt in the process. He has to, you know, form a truce with my boy Xander here. There's a lot of growing up that he has to do. And I think like I said earlier, it's a really humbling period for him. And ultimately, I think it's going to be a while before he can trust anybody again, especially a woman, you know, and he's going to check himself quite a bit. So it's the stage of growth for Alex. And what we are now approaching is what I ultimately think the fans would want for him, love-wise. You know, because he's been this playboy for quite some time again, and he got involved with the bad apple. So I think he's finding himself, and he's finding what love does for himself as it's unfolding. So he's growing up a lot, for sure.
Does he take the horse back?
Which one?
Linsey, sorry, before we go, can I just ask you, what was your Emmy experience like? What was that run for you?
Like just going to the
Emmys? No, just the whole thing, being nominated in the past few months, and now that you're sort of removed from it a little bit now.
I mean, I hadn't participated in a really long time.
Yeah.
You know, I just so I mean, yeah, it was fun to get to go through it with the people that I got to go through it with. You know, I truly love all those people. I mean, Martov and Wally and Tam and so to be able to go through it, and especially like, you know, especially with people that I am very tight with, was just so much fun. And then getting to go with Kimberly was just so much fun. And yeah, and then, you know, twinning with Michelle Stafford was like the best. That like,
Yes.
like we died. She was standing right in front of me. We died. It was good.
Well, it was my first Emmys, and I had a great time because there was no pressure on me because I was Suzanne's date, and she'd already won her award. Like,
Yeah, you're the best date.
There's no pressure. It was great.
That was the cutest thing ever, though, actually, because I get a call from Suzanne, which I was like, yes, I love when I get calls from Suzanne. And she was like, I have this award that I'm being given, and I have a +1. And I'm sitting here being like, Suzanne, how am I going to break it to Suzanne that I'm asking Kimberly? I already asked Kimberly to be my date. Like, and I just was wondering, and I was like, oh, man. She was like, if Paul would go with me. And I was like, ah! It was like,
It's so sweet. It's like prom.
Yeah, right.
It really was. It really
That's
was.
so sweet.
Me to call Paul to ask Paul to be her date.
Oh,
The only way it would have been better is if she folded up into a little origami.
right.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, will Paul be my date?
He was like, he made the same noise that I did. He was like,
But you guys were you and Suzanne were the cutest though. Like it looks like you guys had such a great time.
Yeah.
You matched. It really was like prom. Like your tie matched your dress. Like it was
so
really good.
funny. Like,
And then they had Dupree, my ass, stuck in the middle of them. I'm like, you guys are their date. Why are you keeping me in the middle? Like,
Well,
let them have it.
Well, you know, there's always the friend, right? That comes in, you know, just for that was you, Rob.
I'm
It
the
was
friend.
It was like, hey y'all, how are? Oh, we're getting a picture together. Got it. And then like,
Hey.
and Tony, you were the only interview I did.
Well, I
crashed Wally's interview.
Yeah. Well, because we were talking, and Linsey kind of came in. And then I was like, well, since she's here, I have some questions. And so I feel like I kind of forced you to be a part of the interview, but I also felt like you didn't mind.
I duck under his.
For fans who are watching, go back and watch the interview. It's posted on our YouTube channel, and you'll see exactly what we mean. But
yes.
you guys are amazing. This week was great. It was such a testament to your talents, and you know we can't praise you guys enough for what you do. We know that like it sometimes you look at storylines and you're like, I'm just gonna do the best with what I got, and you guys do it when you do. So thank you guys for that. This week was really really good, and we can't wait to see what transpires next. And if Alex is still gonna have a job at Titan, or if he's gonna be riding that horse into the sunset. Who knows?
Thank you
He's
so
putting on,
much.
he's
And we-
putting on
you
his
know,
boots as we speak.
yeah. But we're so
That's
grateful
it.
to you guys
Thank you
too.
guys. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
All
I
the
can't-
shine you give the
Thank
show
you.
and all of us, we just love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
can't
Appreciate
wait
it.
for Day of Days to see you all
I
again.
know.
Yeah.
It'll be
Together.
so much fun.
It'll
I
be
love
here
Day of
soon.
Days,
It'll be here
actually.
soon.
I'm heads up.
Me
I'm
too.
probably bringing pan dulce because it's Dia de los Muertos weekend.
Okay,
Ah!
fantastic.
So yeah,
Really
Sounds
excited.
I'm just gonna bring myself as I have every year. But I do have something to give. Speaking of shine, we know that Paul and Lindsay, you guys are going on a Zoom to celebrate birthdays. So we here at Dishin Days, even though you can't have it, we have a little birthday gift for you. So happy birthday! And FYI, I lit this candle like 5 minutes ago, so that's why it's like melted. So happy birthday!
Yes, happy
Blow it
birthday.
out, Lindsay. Blow out the candle.
Yeah.
Yay! It's like magic. My God.
that's what we do here.
That's the best.
But thank you guys
Yeah,
so much
thank you, guys.
for always taking the time on to talk to us. The fans absolutely love it, and we get some little nuggets and behind the scenes stuff as to like how this great and wonderful thing that we see on TV every week comes about. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
for asking.
Thanks, guys.
Pleasure.
Of course.
Thanks.
Of course.
See you guys soon.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Bye, you
Bye.
guys. Oh, yay, that was a fun
Always,
time.
yeah, always with them.
Yeah, and that was that storyline.
I know, right? I know. As we continue the show,
Right. I
keeping it moving.
just love that now we can incorporate
No,
the
it's great,
people
yeah.
who are a part of the storyline into our discussion with the storyline. And so now it's like, okay, well now that's done. So we're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys make sure you stick with us, all 222 of you.
Yes.
Because we're now gonna keep the show moving right along with Elvis has left the building.
EJ, what's going on with him?
EJ. EJ's being EJ. Okay, this is not out of character for him. This is exactly what I expected him to do. This is no less of what we expected of this entire storyline. Yeah.
I just don't understand the need to make things harder for two people. It's like that's where she wants to be.
Yeah, it's the switch for me of like, Nicole, I want you. Oh, you're going to Eric. It's over. You want to divorce me? Okay, now I'm gonna go after you. That he's sort of going after her as if she cheated on him. You know what I mean? Like that seems to be.
I
like,
mean,
his
she
attitude.
kind of
Well,
did.
She did.
I mean, listen, she's got a little bit of fault there with the stuff she's been carrying on with Eric or how they've been carrying on together. But yeah, he very much switched and was like, I'm now like an enemy of you two. I'm gonna make your lives hell, kind of a thing.
You know what it is with the Eric and Nicole of it all is that EJ, though I don't know if it was as explicit as it has been in her other relationships, EJ also gave Nicole several outs. They didn't start out seriously. Back when they rekindled their relationship, it didn't start out seriously. It was more of a we're exes, we're friends, we understand each other kind of a thing. There wasn't really a lot of pressure in the beginning. And so though it maybe wasn't explicitly said at that point, she had several outs. The way that she had in her relationship with Rafe, the way that she has had in her relationship with Brady back in the day. At every turn, she's had several outs, and she's not taken them. She's retreated and said, Eric and I are over. You're my future. But it's the same party line for years in different relationships and different iterations. And so the pattern is not healthy, and EJ is just the one guy who's gonna say enough. Enough.
Okay.
I'm not taking this.
Well, shout out to Michael Mattis who said hello and dropped in. We miss you too, Michael Mattis. My question to you guys is this. Do you think if things hadn't transpired as they have behind the scenes, would we still have EJ and Nicole? Or was it always the goal to eventually have Eric and Nicole end up together?
I actually do think we would have had EJ and Nicole for a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would have like roughed it out as like being a couple, or Nicole would have been like, I'm committed to EJ, I'm married. Well, actually, I'll say this. If EJ wasn't involved in the switch, Nicole would have stayed with EJ.
Right.
I think that I hypothesize that even if Eric and Nicole had found out right off the bat that Jude was theirs, that it wouldn't have lasted. And I don't think it's going to last.
Well, see, but and here's the other thing. I think for me, I would understand the story more if all throughout, even the time when she was with EJ, that I always felt, oh, like there's still something there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like for the longest time, like it was, we're friends, like we have a past, but we're friends and we're cool with like where we are. But and then it was like all of a sudden, it was like, because we know where we need to go, it's like we're gonna do these things to create that, you know, that love tension again between these two characters. Because even the kiss didn't make sense. Like drunk Nicole kissing Eric, it was like that, you know, I saw why it was needed, but I was also just kind of like, is it?
Yeah.
Like if it was just there all along, it would make more sense. And I mean, I almost sometimes feel like a wishy-washy fan because there's not like a couple that I like sit in and I'm strongly rooting for. I'm more like, well, if the roller coaster's going up, I'm gonna go up with it. If it comes down, I'm gonna come down with it. Oh, we're turning left, I'm gonna turn left. Oh, we turning right, I'm gonna turn right. I think I just did that opposite. But you know, but for this, it was just kind of like I feel like it was forced. And now with the whole like, oh, I'm gonna move to Paris, but I'm gonna leave you, Holly, here. I'm just like, okay.
To me, that's the only part that made sense. I was like, no teenager about to go in their senior year is ever going to want to move and leave their friends.
Never. Yeah.
So that part, I like that she stood her ground. It was like, I'm not going to Paris. Like, I'm almost an adult. Like, we're still arguing over who you want me to date. Like,
yeah, because it's like, in that sense, she did have a leg to stand on, because she was like, yo, your life is screwed up. My life is just getting started, and my life is here.
Yeah.
This is so bad. But like, as Holly was talking, all I could hear was Ashley being like, y'all ain't about to end my contract.
Right. Yeah.
You can go to Paris if you want to.
Exactly.
Baby, I'm staying here. Okay, right. I am here.
Now, so we know what's going to happen. You know, EJ is going to torment them. You know, we'll see if, you know, his divorce from Nicole eventually goes through, if Eric and Sloane's divorce eventually goes through, but they're off. They're going to Paris with Jude. They're going to start a new life. But here remains Holly, and here remains EJ. And he brought up the one thing that we have always talked about, and it was finally confirmed this week that Holly has no knowledge of how her father really died.
That
I
was-
was kind of like, now EJ, you are too grown to like. Do you like you? No, you can't do that to that girl.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised by that because I was like, wait, she doesn't know? Like, she's, and again, of course, the character was sourced from a child, so that's not maybe information you would necessarily share with a child at that point, but also, like, the character is now 16, almost 17, like,
And at one point,
senior year.
at one point, this man was her stepfather.
Yeah.
Eric was her stepfather at one point, and she has fond memories. And we've speculated over the years, especially since the character was Soros. Does she know? And we got confirmation this week. She knows the circumstances of how Daniel died. She doesn't know who the drunk driver was.
Yeah.
Which is odd that she either
doesn't.
no one told her or she didn't look it up or like never like, you know what I mean? There's so many questions to that of like, would a 16-year-old really not know that information? Or I doubt they've been lying to her. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions there where I'm like, but also like, isn't this, again, they're leaving, so this is probably not the opportunity to sit her down and say that, but also like, you're sweeping this big revelation under the rug now that you two are back together and moving away and you have a child now. Like, this is still like a looming weird secret hanging over them.
And especially, and there was an opportunity to bring it up. Maybe not bring it up, but maybe not for Eric or EJ and Nicole to bring it up, but there was an opportunity for it to be brought up when Holly overdosed. Really to hammer home the fact that her father was killed by a drunk driver. Drugs, bad. Alcohol, bad.
Yeah.
Anything else bad?
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, EJ, come on down.
But I don't think that's going to be anything moving forward. I feel like that was sort of a way to show EJ's vindictiveness, but sort of like mentioned and then sort of dropped. I don't think that'll come up later because I feel like they're leaving. So it doesn't have an impact unless Eric and Nicole are there.
Yeah, I don't know that necessarily it's going to be brought up again. And as bad as EJ is, he's not going to take it out on a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll make, he'll take great pleasure in making Eric and Nicole's lives a living hell, but he likes Holly. He's not going to take it out on a child. But the fact that carrot is out there dangling, that is like, we know it's like the information that has not been shared is just waiting to bomb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But oh well.
And I do think we have to acknowledge before we move on to the next storyline. Well, actually two. One, I think both Emily O'Brien and Ari Zucker are off the show as of this week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, because Teresa's going to jail.
Yeah, I thought we would get a 2 weeks Gwen would show up. That's what I thought, but I don't know.
Gwen was coming back?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No reason to think that. I didn't see anything about Emily leaving.
We haven't gotten any official confirmation.
Yeah, I didn't assume Emily was gone. I
assumed that the second Teresa was like, I'm going to turn myself in and take accountability.
Oh, so you're assuming.
That's how she goes.
No, I assumed Teresa would leave. I just didn't think Emily would leave.
Oh.
Okay, let me stay for the record before we get in trouble. We only have confirmation of Ari Zucker being gone.
Thank you,
so
Araceli.
let us.
I mean, I just assumed.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like she was exiting stage left.
Yeah, maybe she.
Too.
Yeah.
Okay. In any case.
Damn.
In any case, we all know for sure that Ari has left the show.
Now,
Nicole
what has
is
got you
leaving.
in a bind? Like, you feel like you need to like
Because I don't want
what
us
are you
getting
doing?
into trouble, and then our audience already picks up on. Wait, who said what? Where's the confirmation? This and that? You guys have the inside scoop.
I've already said I assume she was leaving because she's going to jail. And
Yes,
you
but
keep coming in. I just want to state for the record that we don't know anything. And I'm like, so you're assuming? Well, yeah, because I've been watching the show since I was 14.
It's not to confirm.
And I just assumed that she's going to jail and that we're not going to see her
Tony.
going
it's not
to
for
jail.
your benefit. It's for our audience who sometimes like to listen in and out.
Didn't everybody else assume that Emily was gone after Teresa goes to jail?
No.
Oh, I guess she could. But why would we cut to the jail?
No, I'm with you in the sense I assumed Teresa, her character arc was leaving. I just didn't know that Emily O'Brien, like, I just thought, oh, maybe they'll bring Gwen back for her or something. Or that was my thinking, that Gwen would make a return.
Well, silly me, I thought Gwen was gone and has no reason to come back because we haven't even heard about Gwen. And then, although for a second when she was at the airport, I thought, is Gwen gonna come in and land? Like,
I know that's kind of I thought.
and then when that didn't happen, I was like, oh, they just gonna send her off the jet. I was like, okay, well, bye.
I mean, if you're right, unfortunately, I mean, yeah, we love Emily and she's such talent.
I'm not assuming anything because I love Emily. No, because I love Emily and I love what she's done with both characters. So why would I torture myself into thinking that she's left?
Well, fine. I'll stand on New Salem by myself and thinking that. Well, if we see her next week, then I'll color me surprised.
Yes.
I did have that reaction.
No,
like,
yeah.
Oh, they just going okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
I mean, there's nobody to book her. Rafe is in a coma, and Jada's by his side trying to solve that. So who's coming in together?
Some unknown cop that we haven't seen. I don't know.
I guess. Well, side note, we'll put a pin in that. But shout out to Ari Zucker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, talented woman. Obviously we know she did a post about her time. We'll go more in detail later, but yeah, I mean, I think it's just sad to see how these talented people, well, the talented person has to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good run. 26 years, or totality of, start to finish is a long time in one place on a soap playing a character, and
and she's amazing.
She'll be missed. Yeah, very much so.
All right. Now that we got that out of the way, and I guess we're still standing. Wait, what are you doing? We still have one more thing.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. We do. That's right.
See, not only is Barbarette slipping, but so is Justin. Now let's talk about Barbarette, shall we? If you're going to decide to play one of your people, one of your DIDs, be good at it.
Yep. Or get the heck out of Dodge.
This was the comedy portion of the show. When he sat in that chair across from Deidre Hall and was acting out that scene,
Yeah.
I cackled when they kept cutting to Deidre Hall and she was just sitting there like,
Yeah.
like the thought bubble would be like, girl, please, like, who you think you fooling? I lost it. I was laughing so hard because when he started it, I thought they were going to play it like serious, and then like Blake was just like going for the rafters, and then the contrast of cutting to Deidre Hall just looking at him like that, like, get the fuck out of my office. Like, it was so funny. That was like pure comedy that week.
Well, because at the end of that, when Kayla came in, Marlena was like,
That ain't ever.
Oops.
This breakthrough
Yeah. Right.
came through a little too early.
Oops.
And both her and Kayla looking at each other like,
Right. Makes sense.
see, sometimes you can't oversell it.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you probably where Marlena wasn't buying it when he was like, hypnotize me. Didn't you just ask for the session to be ended early because you're
Right.
busy?
Mhm.
Like, which one is it? They own to you, Bobby.
This
So
is whole-
so is Stephanie and Jada.
This
Jada standing
whole-
outside the Brady pub.
Yeah. That was hilarious to me that those two figured it out so fast.
Well, I mean,
Instead
Jada
of
is
the
a cop.
doctor.
Well,
Jada's a cop, and
Yeah.
Jada. I would think that Jada, out of everyone, would have figured it out because you could tell even in the hospital when Everett was so attentive to
Yeah.
Jada, she was looking like,
yeah.
Miss Everett, if you don't go on out of here with bitch, you ain't Everett, you Bobby. Bobby. That's who that is. She picked up on it. She was like, and then when he was like, she said, I don't care which one he is. I'll take Bobby and Everett. But yeah, it's like
Then we had Connie in the mix with.
She's playing stalker
Yes.
perfectly.
Yes.
well, also like Connie is slipping too. Get you a mask. Get you something.
Pretend to be a nurse.
Everybody else has. She could have put on. Well, I don't know if she could do a ponytail. She could have slicked her hair back.
But I guess the intention is that she wants to get close to Gabby. I don't know if it's because she wants to find out how much Gabby knows. If she just hates her and just wants to stalk her before she kills her too.
She spit in her coffee.
I swear this whole storyline was me just yelling at the screen. Marlena, you're a doctor. Stephanie, get there faster. Gabby, don't drink the coffee.
See, Megan said it too. Connie spit in her coffee. Her crazy ass offered to work for free to be Gabby's assistant. Too desperate. It doesn't. Okay, so here's the thing. She doesn't like Gabby.
No.
Because of what Gabby did to Lee. So why do you want to work for her?
I can't explain crazy. She's just crazy.
You sure? You sure you can't explain crazy?
I can't. No, I can explain people who act crazy who are trying for sanity. This woman is just crazy. She lives in her own little world where no literally no one else lives there except for a dead Lee.
Yes, who she still talks to.
Yes.
First, those scenes tickle me. It's like, baby, get us out of Connie's mind, please. Because if I see Lee sitting here pulling up to the table one more again, like, and then had the nerve and the audacity and the gall to cook him a plate, baby, you wasting food. I also would like to go on record by saying, I hate Dylan.
What?
I saw that.
Because Dylan is representing the internet, and sometimes I can't stand that. I hate Dylan. But thank you for your $2.99.
And for all else that you do.
I appreciate it. Oh, and then also McFloyd said, When Connie said, "I can't stand that diva B," I was cackling. Gabby is a great screamer. She should see Connie a mile away.
Mm.
Oh, schemer. Sorry.
Mm.
I think she does. I think Gabby is suspicious of Connie for sure.
Yeah.
Because when Connie was like, "Oh, I'm trying to give this explanation as to why," she was like, "Cut the crap. Why are you really here?"
Yep.
And Gabby is like, "Huh? Okay. Oh, I looked at your team. Oh, you have some talent." But I still think in the back of Gabby's mind, she's like, "Look out for crazy, cause that lady crazy." Oh my gosh! I bet some fan is going to make a video of all the Connie stuff and put it to "Crazy" by Gnarls Barkley.
I'm sure.
Oh, you bet that. You predicted that, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just like
Okay.
that. That's just like that one time many years ago. Oh, I feel like I don't have it anymore again. Someone did a video of all of Rob's shirtless moments from the show and from Instagram, and they put it to the tune of "Muscles" by Diana Ross. I want muscles. Mm-hmm. I love it. Anywho, that's it for Bobby is slipping, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We gonna see how he's able to keep this going and who and how they're gonna figure him out, because he ain't even. It's like, how you, like, that's your inner you.
Yeah.
How you not able to be you?
Showing his hand way too much.
Mm-hmm. He is, because he just want to be with Jada. Well, all right, before we get into tidbits, y'all, we just have a tidbit of a reminder. Y'all make sure y'all follow us on all social media platforms. We're Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, X, and Threads. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of content that you have not seen, including this episode, plus 300 plus other episodes, plus a plethora of interviews, plus us. You also get to see the many variations of hosts we've had in the past 9 years of Dishin Days. I have been here for all. Also, make sure you find us on your favorite podcast station, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And go show some love to JLJ Media on YouTube. Let them know that the kind folks at Dishin Days sent you. And also let James Lott Jr. know that his youngest friend sent you, because he's old. Share your thoughts and tell us your thoughts. Share your thoughts in our chat if you're watching us live. Share your thoughts in our comment below if you're joining us later. Now, moving on to our tidbits. Well, we had just started talking about this, the relaunch of Gabby Chic. I think we can all say Connie don't need to work there, right? I mean, she had some great.
Very fun. I like this mix though of like what happened?
You said it would be fun for Connie to work there.
The mix could be fun. All these different women at Demira.
You mean all the different people that Connie has in her head?
We'll see. I mean, also, like, what does she has to work, right? She's not independently wealthy, I'm assuming.
Well, we don't know what she's been doing. We just know she killed Lee. She could be the secretary at the Salem State Penitentiary. I don't know.
Well, according to Gabby, she's got some good ideas. So let's see. Let's take this ride with Connie. Like, I'd rather see her working with Gabby in being crazy.
You know what Connie could bring to Gabby Chic? A line of those shirts that she wears.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called. They should call it the Connie.
Okay.
It's just that it's like
shirt.
No, it's like a same style shirt that
she wears.
that Connie wears.
Yeah.
Of all the things for you to pick up on in this storyline.
Besides the fact that she's crazy, she's
Yes.
consistent in her fashions. I ain't seen her in anything else except that style shirt. It makes sense to go over the Gabby sheet because then she can create a line of those over there. I see the vision.
I hope Kristen doesn't agree
You're
with
right.
you.
Well, Kristen agrees to have to relaunch Gabby
Yeah.
Sheik. Ava,
Yes.
stop being paranoid that you slept with that woman's man.
I know. It's like, yeah. Again, you're going to show your hand. You keep,
Yeah. I do appreciate that she has, when it comes to Gabby, she has a healthy sense of fear.
Who? Connie?
Ava.
Ava.
I feel like it's more guilt, though. Well, I guess a little bit of fear, too, but I feel like some of it is guilt, too, that she slept with him while Gabby was in prison and being beat up and all that kind of stuff, so, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like even Kristen's like, guys, come on. You guys are the only ones making a big deal out of this.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it happened. We can be like Elsa and let it go.
Yes.
Also, did you guys notice there was a weird, I feel like that scene with Stefan and Kristen was a little weird. I was like, did something get cut? Because he was like sitting in the chair and then he got up and was like, oh, everything looks good. So I wasn't sure if she was bringing him on to the company. It was a weird scene. Like, I felt like there was like cut dialogue or something. Or I thought maybe they'd go back to that scene because he got up and was like, oh, all the paperwork looks good and blah, blah, blah. And then they started talking about, him and Ava. And I was like, oh, did she hire him? Is he like part of the mix to like make this storyline, be more paranoid now that they're all in the same company? I don't know. It was a weird scene to feel like it got cut off somewhere or dialogue was missing.
It must have been so weird that I didn't pay attention.
You didn't even remember.
No, I just made the assumption that that he had already been there. But yeah, some stuff could have gotten cut.
Yeah, maybe she hired him. Yeah,
I think it wasn't too out of the ordinary for me.
True.
If it was really noticeable, I would have noticed it.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about our showrunners, Abe and Kate, receiving the rights to Body and Soul. That was an old Anita Baker song.
Yes.
I thought the second that they got these rights, my first thought went to, this would be a great Beyond Salem Chapter 3. Because then think about it. If they're, first of all, who's shooting in Salem? That's number one. Number two, if for some reason they decide to shoot in LA, maybe, we could have Will for the week because maybe he could be one of the writers. Who else is over there? I don't know. We just have a week of people.
I think
Will's
in Austin.
Will is in Austin, but I'm saying they could fly him in to write.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. There's fun things that they could that could be done that could be incorporated. And it wouldn't have to be a part of the main show. It could be a part of, and we would all tune in.
Yes. Yeah. I can hear Michael Mattis's voice as he complains about how they were describing the three main actresses, their lives. And one is married to a makeup artist. She doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
When she said that, I hollered. I said, not you talking about you.
Yeah.
That was a fun moment.
Yeah. It was like, okay, we've got the rights now. I guess the plot is the three actresses aren't returning, so they have to cast new women to be the three.
Abe said no. You can't have the show without them.
So we have to find an alternative solution.
I mean, that would be like if they tried to do Daedra Hall. If they tried to do Days of Our Lives without Deidre, Lauren, and Mary Beth.
Mm-hmm.
And I named those three because those were the three people who I think they're referring to.
They are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But I was like, oh, it's plot wise, it makes sense. So you don't have to have your actors pulling double duty. It's like you've already established that these three women are there. So it's like, okay, we need to recast them. Okay, well, that's a way to get out of having having these three busy women now play another role within a role on the show.
Yes.
It's a lot to keep up with, I'm sure.
Can you keep up? I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll see. They have the rights.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun project for them.
Yeah. Oh, I got thrown off because I was like, why are these people underneath there?
Yeah, we have two different things that we forgot to headline here.
Wait,
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Justin, you see it on our rundown? The who's under the showrunners?
Oh.
Right there.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
That was from last
Okay.
night.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, let's move on and talk about Paulina's health then.
I was like,
Paulina went in feeling better than she's ever felt.
Was this product placement for this blood pressure drug? I was like, what are we doing here?
To me, it could have been product placement, but I think it would. I think it was more of an incorporate. I think it's one of those things. It's like incorporate things that are going on in the actors' lives, just like we said. Like they just talked about Mary Beth and Lauren and Deidre, and like, well, what would the show be without them? Kind of thing in the previous storyline. We've noticed that Jack A's health has been doing much better this year. So maybe they were trying to incorporate some subtle way to say, hey, let's take care of our health. Let's go to our doctor's appointments. That's kind of, I feel like that's been the whole journey this year. And we asked way back when they did the whole radiation storyline, what the point was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping this is the sticking end point of that whole story.
See, I was getting, oh God, are we starting another health-related storyline again? Because I was like, I don't understand this scene, but...
She got bad cholesterol, honey.
Yeah, and I was like, are you trying to... Yeah,
Mind you...
Sorry, yeah.
Wait, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
No, nothing.
Oh, mind you, when they said that she had bad cholesterol, I was sitting here eating cheese sticks. So there was that. Yeah. All right. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was your week of days.
Yeah.
Wow, we got to breeze through this show. Well, let's keep it going.
Yes.
It is now time for this is me. It is now time for our favorite part of the show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with little old me in Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap! Oh, snap!
All right. Now, there are times in life where you make time for tea. And I love someone that makes time for tea. Like this.
It's a long story. I have time? I'd really like to hear it.
Linsey Godfrey, Sarah Horton, we're doing whatever you need to do and making the time that you need to collect that tea. You get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Sorry, since we didn't talk about this, I guess really quickly, do you believe her? I don't.
You don't believe her?
Oh, snap!
I think she's lying, yeah. I assume she's lying.
Oh, snap! Oh, snap!
Very useful here.
I believed her.
I
Okay.
believed her.
You think it's something else, Justin?
Could
I
be
just
wrong.
thought she was making up something to like get on his good graces now that he is the heir to billions and she hasn't quit drinking like she says. I just assumed she was lying about that.
I mean,
it could be true.
Valid either way.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think about that. I thought.
Yeah. I mean, I hope she's not.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, okay. That's
it's entirely
a
possible.
convenient way to now get these people on your side after they were like, we hate you.
But that's also something that can be looked up. So, like, if she lied about that, then.
Oh, snap! Oh, snap!
We'll see how handy she is with records or.
Oh, snap!
Listen, if Constantine can fool them for 6 months, I don't put it.
Oh, God.
Constantine wasn't fooling anybody but himself. That's
and still almost got away with it, right?
Lord. All right, well.
Those were the days.
All right, I'm taking you back to July 24th, 1987, where Josh Taylor exited as Chris Kostachek. This is an interesting story. At the time, he was pulling double duty as Chris Kostachek on the show, and he was also doing Kostachek. If some of us older people remember the show Valerie, which then became the Hogan Family, he played the dad on it. He was doing double duty, and then for those of you who know TV trivia, Valerie Harper wanted more money. It was a big scandal, and they killed her character off, and they brought in Sandy Duncan. And when they did that, they actually expanded Josh's role as the dad now into the sort of revamping of the show. And so that's why he left Days in 1987 as Chris Kostachek. Chris Kostachek.
How much do you think it would cost for Valerie?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
How much do you think it would cost for Valerie?
Oh, the song?
No.
Oh.
You were just talking about Valerie wanting more money, right?
Uh-huh.
How much do you think it would cost? It'll cost a check.
Oh, God. What is he talking? Where are you going with this? I was so confused. I was like, huh? Yeah, uh-huh. Valerie, yeah.
That was so bad.
Oh, God.
Oh,
it was so bad, it was good.
It's just bad.
So, yeah.
Now I'm gonna be like, ooh, this is how much? Cost a check.
Oh my God.
Okay, to cap off, then we had Josh thankfully return 10 years later in 1997, of course, as Roman Brady, who he continues to play to this day. But
ooh, yeah. I wonder how much that set Days back. Probably cost a check. And
those were the days.
Oh wait, was that it? Did you end it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was it.
Because let me tell you what it can cost me. A check.
Lordy.
News and gossip.
Hey!
Oh.
What about me?
Oh Lord, don't start another fight. Let's go.
Hey!
We can't afford you. You know why?
Because I sent in 2 things.
And they cost a check. It's a gift.
All right. This week's It's a Gift is a twofer.
Okay.
Twofer. Okay. So let's start off with the short one, which goes to Miss Connie. And I got to give it to Julie Duff here and also the cameraman. Can somebody find me the name of that cameraman? Because in the definition of a close-up, that is a close-up.
What
That's
is
all.
it?
That's a close up. Run. You see this face. Looking this way. You run.
Mm.
Run, baby, run.
You know what? You know what should have been behind it?
Hmm?
I wonder if I can find it really quick
Mm.
and then play it. It's a popular sound. Um, I did find it
Oh,
straight
is it
away.
Well, this is a joint project.
Hold
I'm
on.
doing it by myself, and we need to decide.
Oh, hold on. This is what it sounds like. It sounds like because it's Stephanie and Jada talking. It looks
Mhm.
like the two head cheerleaders talking, and then the unpopular
Oh.
one overhears it, and then
that?
you just hear oh oh wait.
Yeah. Of like the 90s. Yeah.
That's so 80s 90s.
Mm.
It's oh that. And then this next one I had to do this because even Paul and Lindsay and Rob brought it up. If they took the time to bring it up,
Like,
and I'm taking the time to bring it up, Mr. Leo Stark, Mr. Greg Rickart,
uh,
thank you for being a part of every Salem wedding
yeah.
and its disastrous
I
effects.
think that deserves it. Huh? What? Oh, girl. Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh my! Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. Oh. Now this is a Salem wedding. So good.
I want Leo to narrate every single Salem wedding.
Every single one,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they go bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gift. Okay, and now it's time for news and gossip.
Yeah, we're starting with a very interesting storyline or story, excuse me. Hey, Freudian slip. Jessica Safrati, who we know as Sloan and we love as Sloan, on July 21st posted an Instagram story claiming her fiance Leonardo had abused her. Then the following day, she retracted the abuse claim and stated, and this is a quote, Leo and I apologize for any who were triggered or affected by yesterday's story. Sometimes a family can have their own argument, and these should never be made public. I would never stay with an abusive man. End quote. Yes, so that is the story. We are hoping and praying for, I presume, everyone's safety, and that any misinformation or confusion is cleared up by this, and everyone involved is safe and happy and healthy.
You know, as my mother would say, sometimes you got to keep stuff in your own house. And if they had an argument, keep that in your house.
Very odd. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, next up, we have good news from former Days cast member Molly Burnett, who was our dear Melanie Jonas. Fresh off of her stint last year on Law & Order SVU, she is now starring and producing in a new indie sci-fi film called Giant Void, where she plays a computer scientist whose work on a life-changing piece of software exposes a secret plot within her company. And Burnett is excited about the film because she describes it as a story that is more relevant and necessary in these polarized and screen-focused times. It highlights how vital and meaningful human connection can be, as well as how important it is to see women in STEM. Hear, hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Molly, I'm available.
Right. She's doing great work.
If there are any roles available, I'm ready.
Mhm.
Speaking of former day stars who are experiencing some good news, next up we have Chriselle Staus, who played Jordan. She's been having an amazing week. As we told you before, she is in Australia filming her stint on Neighbours, but she also celebrated a birthday this week and a vow renewal with her partner G Flip in Australia. So yeah, go over to her Instagram account at Chriselle.Staus. Check out the pics from her Australian vow renewal, and I think she posted a couple of behind the scenes pics of her stint on Neighbours that she's starting. So yeah, Chriselle is having a really fun summer. So yeah, big congrats to her.
Is it me or did I miss when she got married?
It was very we talked about it, but it was very low key.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like they don't want to do like big ceremony things. They've kept their first ceremony was low key. This one was low key. I think it's just them just enjoying each other.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have a Billy Warlock sighting, guys. A Billy Warlock, who those of you may remember, played Frankie Brady in the late 80s, as well as his return stint from 2006 to 2007. He joined some of the stars of Baywatch for a reunion at TV Insider as part of the Television Critics Association's 2024 Portrait Studio. This was a reunion that's tied to a new docu-series being made called After Baywatch, A Moment in the Sun. This will have brand new interviews with a slew of stars from the popular show, including probably spin-off movies and the spin-off series that that were taking place. Warlock was an original character on the show, playing Eddie Kramer from 1989 to 1992. He actually did originate his role in the TV movie, which launched the popular Baywatch series. After Baywatch premieres August 28th on Hulu.
Yeah. Next up, we have a lot of our day's casts online this week.
I'll be back.
How are you?
Oh, Tony froze.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Right. I'm going to go through this. Maybe he'll be back by the time we get to the reminders. But we had Galen Gehring do a daytime trivia, Tuesday trivia on the social media studio. Go check that out on their Instagram account at Days Peacock. We started off with that on Tuesday. Then Kennedy Garcia, who plays Felicity, stopped by the social media studio to remind us that July is Disability Pride Month. And she encourages us to take the time to make new friendships with those with disabilities. And then in honor of the Summer Olympics that are going on in France, we had a lot of the day's cast sit down, everyone from Stacy, Eric, Carson, Dan, Paul, Greg, Sherry, and Billy. And they sat down to describe the sport that they would compete in or the sport that they wish they could compete in. And I tell you, go check it out. It's fun. It's interesting. It's fun to see who is sort of into sports and who isn't, and who what sports they feel like they'd be good at or not good at. And the pick we have, maybe we'll show it when Tony gets back up. There's one of Paul, which actually we should have brought up when he was here, saying that his sport would be napping because that's his favorite pastime. I think Stacy's was a gymnast. And then the funniest one was when they cut to Greg and he was like, yeah, no. He didn't even pretend to like think or even go there. Was
commentator. He's the commentator.
You know what? He'd be perfect at that. That would actually be a good one for him.
Yes. He could have commentated the opening ceremony. It would have made it a lot more an interesting commentator.
Yeah. So we had that. So again, go check that out at Days Peacock on Instagram. Then we have a lovely birthday message we wanted to give to friends of the show and TV siblings, Eric Martzoff and Martha Madison, who happen to share their birthdays every year. And they always do like some sort of together post. This one that we have, I think, is from a recent gathering where they got together and celebrated their birthdays. So big happy birthday to Martha and Eric. Yeah. And last but not least, we mentioned earlier that we'll be saying goodbye to Ari Zucker this coming week. And this, I think earlier today, she posted a slew of both pictures and video onto her Instagram page, this whole sort of collab thing of her 26 years on the show. Pics from year 1 to up until probably her last day. It's pics with everyone. It's some behind the scenes stuff we haven't seen. There's this go watch it. There's this really interesting part where I think it's her and Stacy with the mask.
Yes.
Oh
my God.
It's so funny to see that mask come into play as much as we talk about it in the infamous ripping it off scene. And now we sort of see the genesis of that and to see the mask on Stacy and in the flesh, so to speak. So is really nice. And also just, I mean, again, as we said, Ari's been on the show 26 years on and off. And to look at some of those old photos of her and Jensen, it's like, oh my God, you were such a baby, or the stuff she did with Allie, and a lot of the behind the scenes stuff is really nice. It's a really lovely trip down sort of memory lane with Ari here as we sort of close out her run with Days. As far as we know, those are her words, remember, as far as we know. So we'll see what the future holds.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love you, Ari. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ari.
Yes. All right. Next up, we have our reminders. First up, Day of Days. If you haven't marked it on your calendar, mark it now. If you want to come in, book those flights, trains, planes, automobiles, however you want to get there. November 2nd, 2024. Day of Days will be here at the Peacock Theater in LA Live, hosted by our very own Tony Moore. The event is free, and more updates will be coming soon on guests and how the event works, etc. Please, we also have a Day of Days guide put out by our very own Michael Mattis. The link will be posted on our social media platforms if you want details. So go to our social media platforms, Dishin Days, wherever you find us, and look for Michael Mattis's Day of Days guide. And that will guide you to any questions you may have, because we're not going to answer individual questions on this platform. Thank you. Next up, Star Image Entertainment. The Hot Men of Days Nashville event will take place September 28th and 29th with the full concert with Carson Boatman and Scott Reeves Sunday morning. Tickets and information at eventbrite.ca/Star Image Entertainment. Next up, the Coastal Entertainment will be hosting a Zoom with Carson Boatman and Raven Bowens. This will be Sunday, September 22nd. Go to coastalentertainment.com/events to join there. The day players have a plethora of upcoming dates coming up. Too many to list. So go to thedayplayers.com to look for a venue near you. If you're in the state, just find a way to get there. It's a good time. They have also added a show here at the Bourbon Room in LA on November 2nd, the night of Day of Days. So if any out of towners are coming, you go to Day of Days, get a 3-hour break, go see them that night at the Bourbon Room. Next up, the Ladies of Hollywood. This is an exclusive cocktail and dinner party taking place the day before Day of Days here in LA. I'm going to keep saying that because it's a big weekend. This is an exclusive event taking place November 1st from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. Guests include Stacey Hyduke, Nadia Bjorlin, and others, but this is exclusive, and you can go to, where was that? Lori Matrix at yahoo.com for details. That's Lori Matrix at yahoo.com for details and
that's
tickets.
an email address.
That's an email address. Email for tickets and information. Samantha and Friends will be hosting the Golden Age of Hollywood September 14th and 15th, as well as their Winter Wonderland celebration taking place next year, May 3rd through 4th, 2025. Tickets and information is currently available on www.samanthafriends.org. And last up, Camp Dream. This is an organization for kids with physical and developmental disabilities, and they will be having their Soaps in the South fundraiser October 5th through 6th in Alpharetta, Georgia, with Days' Patricia Darbo and Greg Vaughn as guest hosts, as well as James Hyde and Courtney Hope from Young and the Restless. Tickets and information go to campdreamga.org/events.
All right, and we got through that, and that was because those buttons were. I was like, here we go.
Remember when we thought this week was cool?
News and gossip. You said what, Araceli?
Remember when we thought this week was going to be slow, when we wouldn't have much to talk about on the show or talk about on the news and gossip? Every time we say that,
there's always stuff. Yes. All right, let's find out what's coming up on this week's episodes of Peacock's Days of Our Lives.
We wish you love and peace.
Happy endings.
Yeah.
New beginnings.
Our next big star could be on the other side of that door.
And everything in between.
No one can know about this.
What's gonna happen to you?
The last thing that this town needs is another killer on the loose.
Everett, wake up.
I tried so hard to get back to you.
Hang on. Just stay with me.
Days of Our Lives.
Well, that just debunked everything we just said. Well, hello again to Emily O'Brien and Ari Zucker. And
I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm not even going to try to predict.
Well, that was our show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Dishin Days. Before we head out, Justin Lee Hareld, where can they find you?
Oh. You can find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
Araceli.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
Y'all go say hello to Michael Mattis at ML Mattis on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on all social media platforms at Lounger with Tony. And you can find us at Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, X, Twitter, and Threads. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another wonderful episode of Dishin Days. Shout out to Linsey Godfrey, Paul Telfer, and Robert Scott Wilson for stopping by and spilling some tea on that bombshell of a wedding. So you guys stay tuned to see what else is coming up. And we'll be back to serve up a full dish next Sunday live. 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to give you the lowdown, the rundown, and the shenanigans of Salem this coming week. Until then, have a great and wonderful weekend. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.